Good evening, everyone. We will now begin the evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters, expressing our gratitude for blessings and protection received while participating in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand. Takahara ni kamsumarimasu. Kamurogi kamuromi no mikoto mochite. Sumemi oya kamu izanagi no mikoto. Tsukushi no imuka no tachihana.
どのあはぎはらにみそぎ払いたもうときになりませる。払いの神たちもろもろのまがごと積み汚れを払いたまえ清めたまえと直すことのよしを天つ神国つ神やおよろずの神たちともに姉の内駒の耳振り立てて気を示せとかしこみも直す弥勒御神守りたまえ先はえたまえ弥勒御神守りたまえ先はえたまえ教えみよや主の神守りたまえ先はえたまえ教えみよや主の神守りたまえ先はえたまえかんながらたまちあえませ。かんながらたまちあえませ。
Great God of light, creator and giver of all life,
In accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan.
please be seated. Now receive group Johrei. Johrei is now concluded. We will now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teaching. Reflection. How precarious is the future of those who, out of their selfishness, sow the seeds of their own misfortune. May each one of us return to a pure state by illuminating the soul with God's divine light. Instead of wasting time criticizing and accusing others, let us first reflect on ourselves, correcting all our shortcomings. In essence, the important thing is to find the best way in accord with the time, place, and circumstances in order to. However, wisdom is needed. Wisdom is the ability to make right judgments, and the less clouded the spiritual being is, the more it is endowed with wisdom. We should endeavor to remove clouds on the spiritual body as much as we can. What makes this possible is Makoto, the love integrity, and dedication that come from true faith in God. If there is anyone who is deviating from the right path or is truly bad, God will inevitably pass judgment on that person. So this shouldn't be your concern. If a human being worries about the present situation or fears for the future, it surely indicates a lack of belief in God's infinite power. What I recommend, therefore, is that you examine your inner attitude before you criticize others.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining Miroku Association Headquarters Evening Service. This evening, I will share this faith experience from Chile. It's the first time I'm sharing a faith experience from Chile. This is from Elena del Carmen Arenas Navarro. She was introduced to our Church of Chile in 2017 through a member friend, and she received the sacred focal point or Hikari in March of 2018. Since she got to know the Johrei Center, she has been very attracted to the practice of Johrei and the teachings of Meishu-sama. And she would like to share with us her experience during this period of quarantine. Like many people, she had to stay at home without being able to go to work. Therefore, she dedicated to reading the teachings of Meishu-sama more constantly. And then a study group was formed in which she participates with great enthusiasm. During this period, she invited her daughter to receive Johrei, and she accepted. Elena explained to her that during the pandemic, she had not been able to dedicate, and she wanted to be able to channel Johrei. Upon receiving it, and it was only the second time since Elena received her Johrei, her daughter liked it, and now it's she who asked Elena to channel Johrei to her more frequently. All this made Elena feel very happy because she managed to channel the light of Meishu-sama to at least one person in her family. In each online service that is held, she prepares a flower arrangement with the aim of creating paradise in her home. One day, her son came into her room. She and her daughter were talking, and suddenly he was looking at the arrangement and very surprised. He told her that it was very beautiful, and he took it with his hands. That made her very happy because she could see the power that flowers possess. In 2013, her husband had left her, and since then she went to live with her mother and her son, a situation for which she suffered for a long time, but she never held any resentment towards him. At the beginning of the pandemic, and being already in quarantine, one day she received a call from her ex-husband. He had not communicated for more than 7 years, and she only knew about him from her daughter, who told her that he wanted to talk. When he saw her, he apologized in a very emotional way for the pain and damage that he had caused on her and the children. This seemed very surprising to her. She could barely believe it, since she had waited for years for this communication to happen. Eventually, they could talk in a harmonious way about what had happened. At that moment, she was convinced that God and Meishu-sama are perfect, and that paradise was being built inside her and in her home, thanks to the divine power. Currently, they continue talking on the phone. He's calmer since he has some situations to solve. She only prays to God and Meishu-sama so that she can one day guide him to Johrei, and together they can dedicate in this wonderful work of salvation. Elena is very thankful to God and Meishu-sama for the permission to serve from her home and for the blessings received during this period. Elena is daily expressing her gratitude through special monetary offerings. She commits to guide more people so that they can know the power of God and Meishu-sama through Johrei. I was very happy to be able to share this faith experience from Chile. And another faith experience I would like to share this evening is from Nisete Barreira Diogo. She's from the Lisbon Johrei Center, Portugal. Nisete started to have a strong pain in her left shoulder, which during the first 2 weeks was only at night and then increased, and she began to feel it throughout the day. As it was a constant pain, it caused her a lot of inconvenience, as she had difficulties with daily tasks. Her family and friends were worried about her and insisted a lot for her to go to the doctor to see what it was. However, she believed that this would pass if she increased her dedications. Thus, she intensified self-Johrei, channeling on her shoulder, and thought of a way to receive light directly from Meishu-sama. As she lived 10 miles from the Johrei Center, she committed to read 1 hour of teachings daily, in the morning and in the evening. On the advice of other people, she also started making hot water jets on her shoulder when she took a shower. All these practices greatly eased the pain and discomfort, but shortly afterwards, the pain returned. Meanwhile, she took part on the first pilgrimage group to the new headquarters of Portugal in Coimbra. She was in pain as usual, and she asked the participants to give her Johrei during the trip, in order to feel minimally well during the service. Once there, the group entered the temporary altar room of the headquarters, and she didn't even greet the altar. She saw a movement of concerned members cleaning the floor outside the restrooms so that the water would not reach the altar room. When she got near them, they immediately gave her a bucket and a mop and asked her to hurry and help cleaning. At the time, she was worried because she could not even carry her suitcase using her left arm. How could she do this dedication that required an effort from her arm? She hesitated for a moment but thought, you know what? I am in the headquarters and this is an opportunity to dedicate. She began cleaning right away. When it was time to squeeze the mop, she realized that the bucket didn't have a squeezing mechanism. Without thinking about anything else, she had to squeeze it with her bare hands, which took even more strength from her. She did this about 5 times because the mop was soaked with water. This dedication lasted about 20 minutes. The time of the service approached, and she went to sit beside her friend, who asked Nisete where she had been, as she had been looking for her. To which she replied that she had been dedicating to cleaning the water that had come out from the restrooms. Astonished, she immediately said, you? So what about the shoulder pain? It was then that Nisete realized she was no longer in pain. How is it possible that after the effort that she had just made and the pain that she previously had, and now she was without any pain whatsoever? She was perplexed and almost couldn't believe it. It could only be a miracle because of the dedication she had made at their new headquarters. She felt a great emotion and an enormous desire to share with everyone who knew she had this pain for a long time. But as they were just minutes away from the beginning of the service, she couldn't do it. So at that moment, she just thought about thanking God and Meishu-sama and of making a special gratitude offering for the opportunity to have had this blessing. Back in Lisbon, with her heart full of gratitude, she had the opportunity to tell everyone who knew about her problem and the miracle that had happened. She never had any pain in her shoulder again. She went back to doing her daily tasks without any hassle. She could really feel how intense the light of salvation from their headquarters is. That with just 20 minutes of dedication, the pain in her shoulder that had lasted for 3 months disappeared completely. Her goal is to share with everyone the importance of dedicating monthly at their headquarters, thus creating the opportunity to receive a more intense light. Nisette is very thankful for the privilege of serving the divine plan. Very nice experience from Nisette of the Lisbon Johrei Center, Portugal. Thank you very much for listening to these experiences. I wish you a very wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
This brings to a conclusion our evening service. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a blessed evening.